Hey, how's it going? Thanks so much for checking out this video. My name is Ray, there's one of me, and today is the start of my Boss ME-90 series. I'm going to start with all of the preamps. There are 11 of these, so strap in, get ready to go. I thought that this podcast style, live stream style would make sense for this kind of demo, just for the nature of how I have to kind of set things up. So it's going to be organized, but a little bit more informal and not as highly edited. So yeah. I'm actually hoping I don't screw all this up because I'm going to try to do this all in one take. You'll see there's no cuts here, so wish me luck. But yeah, so I got like my music stand here has all of my information. Before I started hitting record, I actually went through and kind of wrote down all of my settings for the different examples and stuff and what songs I was going to use. All the songs that I'm going to play for example demos are all songs that I wrote today. So definitely check out my link tree in the description below. And yeah, check out my music and stuff. So if you enjoy it. But yeah, I'm going through from the Boss ME-90. I'm just going line out. I'm not going through any amps or anything. This is all like sans amp. I'm going into my Alesis Multimix 8 right here on the table. I'm not using any of the EQ. It's completely flat, so you're getting a true example of what all these sound like without any modded EQ over here. That's going through the Focusrite 2i2 into Reaper, which is my DAW. All right, let's get started. So yeah, so the first one here, again, there's 11 of these, man, so strap in. The first one is the natural. And so they're going to go in order from 1 to 11, and there's different degrees of clean to dirty. So it starts off with natural, and these first 6 are Boss's amplifiers. They're not necessarily meant to sound like anything that you might know, but it does have different characteristics that you would know. So for example, the natural says, an unembellished clean sound that minimizes the amp's idiosyncrasies, such as its trebly character and boomy low end. So the way I interpret that for natural, it's like you're not going to get much more of a flat EQ response. This might be a good platform for pedals and stuff like that. So the song I'm going to try, it on clean, because this is like as super clean as it gets. And the first song I'm going to do is called My Jenny. So it goes like this. And here's the clean tone. Oh, so my gain is on 50, the bass is on 40, middle is on 50, treble's on 50, level's on 50, and the reverb, I have it out of frame here, but all the reverb is the spring reverb, and this one is at 2.2. I don't usually go much higher than 2.2 on the spring reverb, but I feel like spring reverb is the kind of reverb you'd have in a lot of different kind of guitar amps, so that's why I used it. So again, this is My Jenny on the clean sound. So yeah, definitely. All I did was drop the bass down a little bit. Everything is just completely flat. And it's just a really good, solid, clean tone. I mean, it's about as clean as it gets. Now, one thing I like to do, though, as you'll see through these examples, is when you have a clean amp, I like to see how dirty they can get. And when you have a super high gain amp, sometimes I like to see how clean they get. So I like to kind of see the extremes. So for the dirty setting, I'm going to bump it up, the gain to 90. The bass, I'm going to roll back to 30. The middle's going to stay around 42. Treble's going to roll back to 40. I'm going to have to roll the level back to around 42, and then I'll keep that reverb at 2.2. So let me dial that in real quick. I'm going to have to get much quicker at that as we go. Like I said, I want to do this with no cuts if I can. It's kind of like a little challenge to myself. All right, let's see how this sounds here. So again, that's the gain on 90. So, when they say it's a clean amp, it can get some dirt. But you see how you have to crank it up like so high just to get some dirt out of it. That's how like a real like clean amp would be too. I'll show that more as we get into like the Fender stuff that this thing has to offer. So this one's called "Gotta Go My Way," and yeah, sounds like this. So again, yeah, nice little crunchy tone, even on the natural setting. All right, the next one is called X Crunch, and according to Boss here, the X Crunch is a crunch sound that uses MDP, whatever that means, to deliver a crisp tone from all strings. So we'll see if what that means. So all right, let me set up the real quick here. I'm going to bring my notes down with me this time so I can do it a lot faster. The song I'm going to use is called Person to Persona. And so, yeah, my gain's going to be about 75, bass is 45, middle is 48, treble's 42, level, I'm going to bump it back up to 50, and I'm going to roll the reverb back a little bit to 1.5. Again, these settings, I used to watch this YouTuber who does like photography reviews, and he always says, man, my settings don't freaking matter, right? These are the settings I used in this situation. So I'm using this Squier Stratocaster. If you guys like this guitar too, or if you want to see more about it, I do have a whole 2 videos where I review this and demo it. So I'll put that in the description down below if you want to check that out. But you know, for this kind of guitar with my rig, my setup, going direct, these are the settings that I kind of dialed in before I hit record. The settings you have can be completely different. So please don't hold too true to these settings. They're just like kind of settings I found that I thought sounded pretty good. So here we go. Let me go through this real quick. All right, so here we go. The song again I'm going to use is called Person to Persona. So I'll start right on the solo. But here it's like that kind of X crunch sound. So yeah, there's the crunch sound. I actually kind of dig that one. That one sounds pretty good to me. All right, so I'm going to try to roll it back. And I'm also going to do a clean sound. So let me set that up real quick. The one thing you guys are probably noticed, I'm actually kind of glad I'm doing this in real time because you can see how the knobs are pretty touchy. And also, like, if you go from like seriously like 31 to like 33, it is actually a pretty significant sound difference, at least to me in my ears. So it's very touchy. I mean, you have a ton of range. It goes from 0 all the way to 100. So man, somewhere in there you can dial in the perfect range. So here's the more clean tone. And this is a song I mean to record. You're going to see this as a kind of a theme, as a lot of these songs I mean to record. This one's called Vegan Cowboy. It's just like a working title. So it's kind of twangy, and it's kind of a good sound to demo this kind of clean bridge tone here. Nice. So I'll give you my full kind of review here at the end. Just want to kind of keep going through these so this video doesn't get crazy, crazy long. Thank you guys so much again for watching, man. If you're liking it, please like, subscribe, ring the bell, leave some comments. Let me know if you like this kind of open format. You know, you get to see a little bit more of me just unedited, you know what I mean? Just kind of real. All right, so next on the list here is X high gain. And spoiler, this is my freaking favorite. I have been using the ME-90 live at my gigs, and this has been my setting. The one thing I will say, if you're using a multi-effects, any kind, whether it's a Boss product or what, I'm not sponsored by Boss anyway, too. Like, this lets you know I'm not sponsored by anybody. I don't have enough of a following yet. So please like and subscribe. So hopefully I can get there at some point. But I don't have any kind of deal with Boss, so it doesn't matter if you're using a Boss product or not. If you're using a multi-effects and you're using it live, I definitely recommend kind of sticking with like one style of amplifier for the whole night. Like if you're changing patches throughout the night, it's really going to be crazy for like your other bandmates or the front of house mixer guy. Like he's going to try to dial you in, and then you hit something that's got such a different characteristic. It's really going to be crazy. So try to keep your amplifiers and different sounds very, like not, you can have some nuance, but like keep it pretty similar so it doesn't like go too crazy when you hit a different patch. So this is kind of a little advice from my experience. So, but yeah, the X high gain, according to Boss here, it says that a high gain sound that uses, again, MDP. I'll have to look that up to see what that means, but I'm not sure. To obtain high gain sound with a wide range and great feeling, sense of separation. I don't know. I think it's as advertised. You guys tell me what you think. And let me dial it in real quick. I'm going to do gain at 60, bass at 42, middle at 48, treble 42, level still at 50, and the reverb I'm going to keep around like that 2.2. So let me dial that in real quick. All right, and this song is called Gone in a Heartbeat. It goes like this. And here's I'm going to use that bridge pickup again. But yeah, man, I dig that sound. That's my favorite, personally. Spoiler. So I should have kept that for the end, man. Give you a reason to keep going here. I'm going to put chapters in this. So if you do want to skip all my yapping and talking and setting things up, you can definitely skip ahead and see how each thing sounds. But man, you're epic. You're awesome. If you watch this whole thing straight through, I really could use the watch time. So thank you guys again, man. So again, for this X high gain, I also want to roll it back and try a more clean tone. So I'm going to roll the gain back to 15, bass 42, middle 48, treble 42. So basically, I'm just rolling the gain back, boosting the level. So the one thing I do have to say is that I wish that the level worked kind of like how a master volume would on an amp. All that level is doing is just turning up the sound that you're getting. Like on a real amplifier, especially like a twin or something, all they have is that volume. And so like, as you turn it up, you can get more distortion just from turning up the master volume. So you don't get that kind of same characteristic with this kind of amp model. You don't have that kind of thing. So you have to use the gain to get the dirt. And then you just use the volume to like keep your levels right. So like if you're recording, if you're playing live, the level is just that overall volume. It's not adding any kind of tone to it. It's just volume. So, all right, let me set up for a clean tone. This song's called Sing Your Blues, and yeah, let me roll this back real quick here. So yeah, as you roll the gain back, though, you do have to kind of compensate with the volume. That is kind of similar to a real amp, so. All right. Yeah, this is called Sing Your Blues. So yeah, again, man, I love the X Crunch. That's one of my favorites. Moving on, we have number 4 is called Maximum. And what it says here, according to Boss, this is just printed from their parameter manual. So you can get like the owner's manual and the parameter stuff, all that from like Boss's website. So I just downloaded it and printed it out so I just have it easy to read. So the Maximum says, an amp that delivers the distinctively great response and tone of a vintage Marshall while making it even higher gain. So this is their take on a Marshall and even more gain than a normal Marshall. So that's kind of what we're going for here. So for my kind of dirty example here, a song is called Barkeeper, and my gain is, so you're going to see as these things get, these amps get increasingly dirtier, you'll see too, like it goes from like green to orange to red. So green is super clean kind of amp, orange is kind of a crunchy amp, and then red is like a super high gain amp. Again though, within those different kinds of amps, you can find with the gain knob different settings. You can have like a cleaner tone or a dirtier tone within that kind of realm. But generally that's the different kinds of amps, you know what I mean? That's like their kind of baseline. So again, I'm going to roll, like the gain is going to only be on 20, but it's going to be pretty saturated even at 20. Gain at 20, bass 35, middle 40. Treble, for this, I had to freaking roll the treble all the way back to 5. It was like real bitey, man. So the level's at 68, and then reverb is about 1.5. So let me dial that in real quick for you guys. There we go. All right, this is on the bridge pickup. Let's see how many times I hit my headphones on this microphone, too. All right, here we go. This is called Barkeeper. So again, that's the treble on 5, and I still feel like it's a little bit like razor blades. Huh? You know, Boss's version of a Marshall and the actual Marshall they emulate, I think they both have that problem. For me, I don't know if it's this pickup. This pickup is super bright, and I do have to like back it off a lot. It's real ratty. If I ever were to mod this guitar, I probably would change out some of the pickups, especially the bridge. So if you're, you know, I'm definitely considering that at some point. But I definitely, man, rolling that treble all the way back to 5, and it still sounds bitey. And that might be a tone that works. And, you know, in the context of a mix, it might be a completely different story. So now for this amp, though, I did want to try like a solo. So I'm going to bump the gain all the way up to 75, bass down to 30, middle at 50, treble 35. Now, the weird thing about this amp, I did notice before I hit record, is that when I turn the gain up, I also can add more high end back in. It's really strange. Like the high end works better at higher gain settings, and then it does at lower. Like it's like at lower gain, it's like the high end is just piercing and just you know, needles in your ear. Where like when you raise it up, I can add more treble back in, and it sounds pretty good. So let's dial that in real quick for you guys. All right, and this is a solo to that song "Gone in a Heartbeat." So let's see what that sounds. See, I do actually like that at the higher gain setting. So I don't know. It just sounds better, dirtier. So you know, mess around with that one. Again, I'll give you like my final kind of synopsis of all these at the end. All right, man, we're almost halfway through. Isn't that crazy? I'm looking at my time here. I'm almost a half hour in. So I'm going to kind of try to pick up the pace here. Now, this next one, I freaking love the name of this one. And it is one of my favorite models here, too. Number 5 is called Juggernaut. It just reminds me of Deadpool. Juggernaut, huge fan. So Juggernaut is a large stack sound that has been tweaked extensively in the pursuit of ultimate metal. So I'm not the biggest metal guy. I mean, I definitely listened to a lot of it growing up, and my first bands in high school were metal. So this kind of takes me back, these kind of tones. So this one, yeah, this one's a pretty dirty amp. The song's called Wings of Hell. It's a working title. It's a song I actually wrote in high school. It shows you how far back I have to go to play metal examples. I do hope to rework this song and record it at some point. The gain is at 65, bass 35, middle 48, treble 42, and then level, I have it around 60. I don't know. That might be a little hot. I might have to roll that back, so we'll see what happens. Like again, I wrote all this out before I hit record, so. All right, let me dial it in for you guys. Yeah, I'm going to keep that level around 55. Oh, no, I definitely need more. Yeah, definitely. That one's a lot quieter for some reason. You have to kind of boost that level a little bit. Yeah, I boosted a level all the way up to 70, so. All right, let's see how this one sounds on the bridge pickup again. Whew, my thrash, man, my right hand is just not there. I would have to practice that for a while to get my speed back up. So let's see. Let me see if I can dial in a bit of a cleaner tone, even though this is such a high gain setting. So for dialing it back, I'm going to roll the gain all the way back to 30. Oh, no, I lied. I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm going to roll the gain all the way back to 10. Basically keeping everything else kind of the same. The bass I'm going to roll back to like the 10, middle 48, treble 78. So yeah, for this one, it's the same kind of thing like as the other ones, like these high gain ones. I feel like when I have to, when I roll back to gain, I have to really kind of either roll back the treble or boost the treble. So the gain stacking of these mods really affect the treble, the high end a lot, at least I feel. And yeah, I'm just keeping that reverb around that 2.2. So again, these settings don't matter. I don't even know why I'm saying them, just so you guys know what I'm doing here. So let me dial that in. All right, so here's another tune I intend to record at some point. This one's called Commotion. It's another tune I wrote back in high school, so. So again, even on the gain at 10, it's still pretty dirty. All right, let's move on. The next guy here is the X Modded. And this will be the last boss one. So the X Modded, according to them from the source, X Modded says it's a core sound that uses MDP again to preserve the definition of the sound even at extreme gain. So MDP, I'm still not sure what that means. Yeah, I'll have to look that up at some point. Maybe I'll do a short or something to like, do a little update on that. All I care really for me, I don't, you could say all this fancy stuff and I just care how it sounds, honestly. So for me, I'm going to Again, for this one, I'm going to do a dirty one, and I'm going to try to do a clean setting, even though you'll see, man, this one is super dirty. This is like the red. This is as dirty as, and high gain as the boss side of it goes. So gain is 58, bass 45, middle 48, treble 48, level 55, and then, yeah, I'm just keeping that reverb at 2.2. I really don't go much higher than that. For me, I just feel like it gets too reverby, and I don't know, I'm not really a shoegaze guy. I don't have anything like super deep, like reverbs and delays. I'm usually pretty dry when I play, just so I don't get washed out in the mix. So let me dial that in for you guys. All right, and the song I'm going to use for this one is called Isn't Love. So this is on the X-Modded. I think I can pull that level up just a little bit more. That is the trick as you're dialing in your settings, is getting your levels, pretty consistent. Yeah, man, I dig the X-Modded and the Juggernaut, and for the natural and then the X high gain, those are all like pretty good. I actually, for this bridge pickup too, man, I really like it better on higher gain settings. I find out, like for the low gain stuff, I would probably use a different guitar for a bridge pickup than this one, if I'm honest. But anyway, let's go on now. So this side, from number 7 through 11. I'm sorry, man, if I'm like sweaty too. It's freaking hot in here, and I'm keeping the window closed to keep the sound down from outside. So this now for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. These are all models of amplifiers that are probably way more familiar. So number 7 is the twin combo, which models a Fender Twin. So that's all it says too. It just says models a Fender Twin. So the one thing too, man, it really does help to have some knowledge and experience with different amplifiers to kind of know what to look for. But you know what, though? Even if you guys don't have that kind of experience or knowledge about amplifiers, this is a great way to like discover all that stuff. I think these models are pretty cool. And even if they don't, perfectly replicate what they're trying to do, they're still, it's the character. It's like the vibe, more than like some kind of perfect sound sometimes. So the twin combo. So yeah, this one. You're going to find that, like the natural said that it was very, like, kind of uncharacteristic. This one has, like, even for a clean tone, it has more characteristic to it. Like, you'll hear, like, some more mid-range, and it has more tonal character to it, which is good if you want that sound. But, like, the natural might be a good clean pad platform for, like, pedals, other pedals, like distortions, other things that you can add to it. So let me dial it in. I really kept most everything in the middle except for bass. I rolled down to 45, so let me dial that in for the twin combo. And actually, so the cool thing about a twin is that, it's known to be a very clean amp, right? But just like a real twin, you would need to be in a studio, or if you did this live, you'd have to be on a pretty big freaking stage. But you can turn all the way up like a twin, and you can get distortion out of it. But it's freaking deafening. It's so loud, you know what I mean? So, but I can emulate that on here by turning the gain up. So I'm gonna do the same song. It's called "Got the Feeling Back." I'm gonna do it clean, and then I'm also gonna like dime it by turning the gain up to like emulate a dimed twin too. Actually, I'm gonna roll that volume back a little bit. Yeah, man, just a nice spanky clean tone. You can't go wrong. All right, let me dial in the dirty version of that, which is really, I'm just going to keep everything the same. I'm just going to change the gain and the level. So let me dial that in. So I'm going to do the same tune again, now on a dirtier setting. And let me know in the comments which one you like better. Do you like the clean, or do you like it with some grit? So again, just because it's clean doesn't mean it can't get some dirt in there too, you know? Just like a real twin, you can crank it up. All right, the next one is another type of Fender amp, and that's the Tweed combo. And so the Tweed, imagine this is like a Tweed Deluxe, which is like a 112 combo. And Tweeds, you know, even though they're Fender, like they are known to be dirtier, like they're more crunchy. Like Neil Young used the Tweeds a lot, especially on like Cinnamon Girl and songs like that. I think he used the Tweed, and so it's got like a more dirty sound. Chuck Berry, you know, like played Tweeds and stuff, so they're like a more of a dirty sound. They're not like super high gain, they're not metal or anything, but they have a nice like breakup. So for this one, the song is called Muddy Mississippi, which I do intend to record. The gain is at 75, bass at 30, middle is 50, treble is 45, and level is 45. So let me dial that in real quick. Yeah, here we go, Muddy Mississippi. So yeah, man, good Tweed sound. I like that one. I really do like the twin turned up too, like with the distortion and stuff. I think that sounds really cool. All right, I am gonna roll the twin can get clean too, just like the twin, or the Tweed, the twin, the twin, the Tweed. The Tweed can also get a clean sound. Sorry about that. And so I'm gonna roll the gain back to 30. Everything else is just gonna stay where it is, and then I'm gonna just control the level to for the volume. So let me do that real quick. So here's another song that I wrote in high school. I don't even have a name for it. It's just like untitled. And it's just this funky C thing. It goes like this. Yeah, man, definitely a very usable sound there. You know, I didn't read what Boss had written. So the Twin said this model's a Fender Twin Reverb. The Tweed actually says this model's a Fender Bassman 4x10 combo. So gotcha. Actually, I might try the Fender Bassman setting on here with my Bass 6 at some point, see how that sounds. That might be really rad. So that's actually a Fender Bassman 4x10. Now, I haven't used any, like you can add your own impulse response, your own IRs to the Boss ME-90. I haven't messed around with any of that. These are all like the stock amp models and their speaker emulations, and also the IR, the impulse response. All this is stock. I haven't changed anything. I actually don't have the right kind of USB to hook up into my computer to go on their Tone Studio and mess with anything yet. So I haven't done anything. Like, this is all stock out of the box right now. All right, down the line, man. We're almost there. We only got 3 left, so we're getting there. And just under, well, 45 minutes, all right, according to this. So, you know, I was like, as I'm doing this, I think I'm not going to cut anything, but I am going to speed up when I'm doing dial in and settings because it's just going to be way too long. I'm going to definitely speed that part up for you guys. So the next one is called Diamond, and this is actually a Vox AC30, I believe. Let me double check, but it says the Diamond. Yep, model's in Vox AC30. And yeah, this is definitely, you know, from what I hear, I've watched like some different videos, like the Andertons guys. They were saying like, you know, modeling Vox amps for some reason is like a real tricky thing to do, even on like the super high-end models. But I think this one is pretty legit. I have experience playing through Vox amps. I had like a Vox thing for a while, and so I kind of know the sound, and it definitely has like a lot of like honk, a lot of like mid-range to it. So yeah, for this, the gain, I'm gonna do like a dirty thing, and then I'm gonna do a clean. Again, I'm trying to like show you the bit of the range, but the gain is, I'm gonna set it at 75, bass at 50, middle 50. Treble, I am gonna roll back, 42 on treble. And the level, I'm gonna roll back a little bit too. So let me dial it in for you guys. Very Voxy, I think. You know, one thing too, like I'm using, okay, so even on a single coil, here's on a single coil. Like, listen how quiet that is actually, just a little bit with the single coil. When I go to the bridge humbucker, there's like no sound. There is like a noise gate in here, so if you do have like super hot pickups or like active pickups, you can turn a noise gate on too. I've never had to use a noise gate on here, even with the super high gain stuff. So, all right, anyway. This tune is called Next Plane Out of Here. I had to remember how to play this. Yeah, man. You can tell if I dig a sound, I stay on it a little longer with the demo. All right, but I'm also going to play it clean. So, you know, Brian May is real famous for using Vox amps, and he, you know, had more of a saturated tone. The Beatles, you know, obviously used Vox amps through the beginning of their career, and they had much more of a clean tone. So I think, yeah, I'm just going to keep everything the same. I'm just going to roll the gain back to 30, and then I'm going to have just to control the level for volume. So let me dial that in. Now, out of all these, I'm usually not the biggest fan of a bridge pickup, like on a clean tone. Really, not usually. But out of all the amps models on here, I really kind of dig this. It gives a real jangle sound, this Vox setting, even with a clean bridge pickup. So this one is just like a song I've written. It's an E. Sorry if you keep seeing me going. I'm checking my levels, making sure I'm still recording. But this is something I wrote in E. I intend to record it. Again, you see like a theme here. I really need to freaking get out and finish writing these songs, record them, and get them out on Spotify for you guys. So yeah, let me play this one for you. This is the clean Vox, and this is yeah, on the bridge pickup. Yeah, man, I dig the jangle on that one. All right, moving on. So, spoiler, this next one is called Brit Stack, and it's their take on a Marshall stack. I don't know, guys, boss, I'm not shilling for you guys, I'm being, dead ass when I say this. This one really sounds like shit. It's like the best way to put it, man. I'm sorry to swear if you guys are offended by that kind of stuff, but nah, man, this one I really had to try to find, try to dial this thing in. This one and their, what was the other one called? The Maximum. Yeah, I don't know. Their Marshall stuff just, I was really disappointed. I was really super excited for like a Marshall sound, and I just don't think they nailed it. I'm sorry. Like, I'll be honest with you guys. So yeah, here's me trying to dial in. For the dirtier one, the song is called Sulphur, Indiana. The gain is on 50, bass 45, middle 45, treble 30, and I really had to roll back to treble. And I still don't know if I got it right. I feel like, again, you get that razor blade needle thing. Level 55, so let's dial that in. All right, there we go. See how it's like kind of ratty. And I don't mean like a rat pedal. Yeah, it's like it's real bitey, real needle piercing. But here's an example though. Here's my song "Sulphur, Indiana." It's not so bad on the low end, but when you play the high end stuff, like if I go, it's just real. And even when I dial the treble back, even if I roll it back on here, like if I roll it back on the guitar, it's a little better. I don't know, man. It's way too much, like treble, way too much presence. I don't know, maybe in a mixed context, like with a bass guitar, or like if you're playing leads with it, you'd really pierce through. But again, pierce, not like cut. Pierce is like that's not a really good adjective to describe your tone if it's piercing, So yeah, I'd say nay to that one. You know what? I was going to do a solo setting on that, but let's just move on. But it's crazy because like the next one, the last one here, the Recti stack. Now this is like a Mesa Boogie type of vibe. And let me double check what it says here. This models the sound of Channel 2 modern mode on the Mesa Boogie dual rectifier. So I have never played a real Mesa Boogie. I want to someday. I know they're badass amps. And it's funny, I keep saying a lot of these examples are songs I wrote in high school. I graduated from high school 22 years ago, so actually 23 years ago. Holy shit. This summer will be 23 years since I graduated high school. That's crazy. I'm getting old. But anytime I hear like a Mesa Boogie, it just takes me right back to that late 90s, early 2000s kind of vibe. Bands like Limp Bizkit and Korn and even like bands before that, like 311, all those bands were all using Mesas. And I don't know, it's got a real characteristic, and they freaking nailed it, I think. I think this actually sounds pretty close to those recordings I always heard. So it's crazy. I'm going from like my least favorite to one of my most favorites, and that's the Recti stack. So the song is called Outside the Lines. I wrote it in high school 24 years ago, actually plus 20, probably wrote it almost 30 years ago. But I'm going to put the gain at 46, bass at 60. I like to boost the bass. This is like the only type of amp that I boost the bass. Usually I cut the bass out. This one I like to boost it because I just like that fat sound that this has. Everything else is in the middle, so let's dial that in. Just that harmonic. You know what I mean? Sorry, I'm not going to play that song, but you know what I mean. 311 for days. Right up with that alone, man. That's freaking right there. That's the 90s and 2000s in an amplifier right there. So again, this is called outside the lines. Again, working title. I'm going to retool these and re-record them at some point, but it goes like this. Again, man, my right hand gallop. I need to work on my right hand galloping metal stuff. So I am going to try to see how clean I can get this. I'm going to roll the gain all the way back to 3. And even then, 3 is about the level of where, like, if you go much below that, it just cuts out and you can't even hear it at all. So I'm going to keep everything else basically the same. I am going to roll the bass back a little bit, middle down to 25, and then treble up a little bit. And then, yeah, kind of change the level just for volume. So let me dial in as clean as this can get, and you'll see that it's not very clean, even on frickin' 3. It almost has like, it's like real choked off. It almost sounds like a kind of a cocked wah. Like if you have a wah pedal and you like kind of set it in one setting. Doesn't it? Like kind of has that kind of real, I don't know, it's like real nasally. But yeah, here's a tune that I wrote. It's on my newest album called Carpe Diem. The song's called Carpe Diem. The album's called Vibin'. So it goes like this. Even on 3, see how like it's not very. It's still got. I mean, it's clean in the context of a mix probably, but it definitely has a lot of dirt still. And it, again, it has a real kind of nasally cocked wah sound. So you know what I mean? So there you go with like the clean amps and the dirty amps where even on 3 it's really dirty, right? Where like the Twin, for example, even if you cranked it up to 100 or 90 or however high this goes, it's still never going to get that dirty, right? So that's what they mean by like clean amps, crunchy amps, you know, high gain amps, super distorted amps. You know, they definitely have different levels of gain, levels of distortion, and different characteristics of distortion. So, all right, man, let's kind of wrap this up. Thank you guys so much. If you made it this far, man, please like, subscribe, ring the bell. You know, thank you for the watch hours. I freaking need them, man, because like I have enough. I am so grateful to you guys. I'm about to hit 1,200 subscribers, and that's freaking amazing. I've been doing this since 2020, and you know, I've been really starting to make a push of doing this YouTube channel again. So I'm trying to get up to like 5,000, 10,000, whatever. Sky's the limit. So I'm so freaking. If you've subscribed and you're watching this, thank you so freaking much. I do appreciate it. But let's go through real quick, man. So yeah, some of my favorites. I like the natural. There's nothing really you could argue about with the natural amp. That's number 1. Seriously, it's just a flat response, and it's just super. Any guitar you put through it, it's just going to sound like that guitar. Like the amp is not going to add anything to it. X Crunch is okay. I think for that one, I might like the number 2, so number 1 and like number 6. So like the natural and Twin are like kind of the most alike, and like the X Crunch and like maybe like the Tweed are most alike. Do you see what I mean? Like so like Boss has like kind of their version, and then there's like the more known stuff. So the X Crunch, it's not bad. I like it. It's not bad at all. But I think I like the Tweed combo a little bit more when it comes to that kind of crunchy kind of Tweed sound. Again, my ultimate favorite out of all 11 of these, my ultimate favorite is the X High Gain. That one has like the X High Gain has a sound. I don't know, man. It says a wide range, great feeling, sense of separation. I don't know. Before I even read any of that, it's just my favorite. It just sounds the best, I think. That's what I've been using live. I've been using it in recordings. I like too how I haven't even messed around with like the volume control. Like you can absolutely roll off the volume. It gets cleaner. It gets dirtier. So yeah, freaking I love the X high gain. It's like that's a real win for Boss. Maximum is okay. Oh no, Maximum I didn't like. Maximum and the Brit stack. They're Marshalls. I don't know, boss. I don't know what the hell is going on with your Marshall stuff, but yeah, both of those, like when you have to turn the treble all the way down to like 4 or 5 and it still sounds piercing. I don't know. Again, it could be this pickup. Maybe if I tried it with a different guitar, it would sound better. Or if maybe your guitar, your rig would sound better. I just personally am not a huge fan of Maximum or Brit stack. I think those are both a fail, if I'm being dead ass. Juggernaut and X modded though are wins. I think that they both sound really good for the high gain stuff. And I'm usually not really a high gain guy. Like I usually like more of like the middle of the road stuff, like the crunch kind of sound. But for like the high gain, that really did take me back to like the days of playing heavier music, like more metal stuff. Or even just like more hard rock that needs like more of a high gain sound. Freaking Maximum, Juggernaut, those are both great. Or not Maximum, sorry, I keep saying that. Maximum sucks. Juggernaut and X modded are really good. Yeah, twin combo, already mentioned. Twin sounds like a twin. It's great. The Tweed is great. The freaking Vox, I think they did good with the Vox. It's got that. It's crazy how the mid range of that one, it's not too woofy or like honky. It's perfect. It's the right amount of. I don't know where it is, and like if it's at like 750 or 650 hertz or something or 1K. I don't know where that mid frequency is, but man, it's perfect there. For the Vox sound, the Diamond. The Brit stack, again, I hate that. Maximum and Brit stack. I really, I'll tell you something in a second here before I go that far. But then the Recti stack, the Mesa Boogie, that's another win. So out of it, like 1, 2, so like the natural, X high gain, Juggernaut, X modded, Twin, Tweed, Diamond, and like Recti. So like I like probably about half of them, you know. The other half like are either okay or like the Maximum and the Brit stack just freaking suck. Like honestly, you could probably skip them. Try them out, see how if you get one of these. Now the one thing I didn't mention, again, I haven't messed around with Tone Studio because I need to buy the MIDI cable. I don't have the right type of MIDI cable to do it. But if you go to if you go to Boss Tone Studio, so it says you can exchange the Recti stack for the following preamps. So there's one called Transparent. These are things you can add in their studio on your computer. So you can exchange the Recti stack for this one called Transparent. It says it's an amp with broad frequency range and extremely flat response, good for acoustic guitar. So it's like an acoustic amp. I wonder how that would sound and how it would be any different than natural. Boutique is the next one. It's a crunch sound that allows the nuances of your picking to be expressed and even more faithfully than on a conventional combo amps. I wonder if Boutique too, I wonder if they're trying to get like that Dumble sound maybe. Again, these are just Boss's things. The next one is called Supreme, a great feeling crunch sound that responds to the nuances of your picking while taking advantage of the distinctive characters of a 4x12 speaker cab. So that's going to be, okay, so that's got like a half stack kind of sound, the Supreme. JC120, this is the Roland JC120. That's like their famous clean chorus amp. The JC, jazz chorus is what it's called. It's funny, I played one of those in college for a jazz band. I think my band director said he just saw jazz combo or jazz, jazz amp, and he just like, oh, this is for jazz, It can be, but, Metallica uses freaking the Roland jazz amps. And then the Deluxe combo, which is a Fender Deluxe. Okay, so instead of having a twin, you could have a Deluxe, which actually are going to be similar, but the Deluxe should break up and get more distorted earlier than the twin. So I actually think you could have got rid of Maximum or Brit stack. I could understand wanting a Marshall tone on there, so maybe like keep your Maximum and get rid of Brit stack, and put the JC120 as like just on there, but not one you have to go on the computer and go on the Tone Studio. I kind of wish the JC120 was just one they had. Being Boss too, Boss Roland, they're all the same company. And that Roland Jazz Chorus is a real famous amp, and I wish that was just on here, and you didn't have to go on the computer. But if you want to, and I also wish you didn't have to like exchange it for the Recti stack. I wish you could just keep that. But then again, this thing I didn't even go through. you know, this is just, I feel like instead of doing an overview, I wanted to go through each section, right? So this is just part one of many. My next part, please subscribe again, because like you'll see the next part. Hopefully I'll record it tomorrow. I'm gonna go through 11 different dirt pedals. So that's 11 amplifiers. And then from there I have 11 dirt pedals, and then there's other effects. You know, you have modulation, chorus, delays, you name it, man. It gets crazy. There's even stuff like unfretted. So like this ME-90 has so many different sounds in it. So we're just getting started, guys. And this has been well over an hour of record time. Again, I'm going to speed up the dialing in the sounds for you, just so it's not boring and it just doesn't take an hour to watch this. So, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm trying to be as comprehensive as possible and get through it all. Again, you know, if you get a Boss ME-90 ever, or if you have one, let me know in the comments if you love them, if you hate them. You know, I think that they're still around like the $350 mark or something, $300, something like that, 350, brand new. I think that's what it is. If not, I'll put an insert right here. And yeah, I mean, I got mine used actually for like $280, or it was under $300. So again, like I like playing stuff and showing you guys that you can get decent sounds, really usable professional sounds that you can gig with, record with. Not, you know, it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to break the bank. So. And also, it's so much easier to bring this little guy, the Boss ME-90, to a gig than to have to like mic up amps and cabs and all that stuff. So I do think that, you know, I'm kind of getting into the world of modeling. I just think it's cool. You get a lot of options and it's easier to carry. So maybe as I get older, I just think about that stuff. All right, guys, last thing I'm going to say, if you enjoyed this too, man, please check out my Patreon. I have my patrons listed back here. We have Hexagon Papa, Chuck Johnson, Duke McDonald, K. Ritchie. Thank you, guys. If you are interested in becoming members, go to patreon.com/OneRayMusic. It's only $3 a month to start. I have over 600 posts of bonus content on there as a thank you. And I do intend to start recording some new stuff, you know, some behind-the-scenes stuff, or like how I do my looping videos, that kind of stuff. So please, you know, the one thing about doing gear reviews is that I don't really have the money to keep buying stuff because I do this I'm a full-time musician. So, you know, I can't spend all my gig money, you know, on pedals and amps and guitars. I need that to live, you know, and, you know, to keep this thing going, to keep my music business going too. So yeah, definitely consider becoming a patron. It's completely optional. You don't have to do it. Just watching, man. If we ever get this thing freaking monetized, you know, I don't even have to like plug Patreon. I can just, you know, do the AdSense and work with companies and stuff like that. That'd be really cool. So guys, you're awesome. Thank you so much again, man. This has been a lot of fun. I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.